Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome today, y'all. Welcome today. Welcome to day two, Everyday Life with Tori Munson podcast. It is so good to be back with you guys. It's been a whole month. Y'all know I wait for a whole month before I come back, and I may come a little bit more frequently, but it's once a month, and I have a fabulous guest. When I say fabulous, I mean fabulous. I got to take some notes from this woman. I have to take some notes from this queen because she's going to give us the good. She's going to tell us some things about her. I want to first tell you a little bit about who she is. And this is amazing. She is, y'all tag and share the video. Tag and share. Y'all see my beautiful, beautiful flowers my husband bought me, pink. He know my favorite color. Well, it's one of my favorite colors. My pink flowers, I had to show those off, y'all. Listen, okay, so basically, she is a two-time cancer survivor. She's a two-time cancer survivor. She is now that right there says a lot about her fight to succeed, her fight to carry on, her fight to go, her fight to move, she has vision, right? She has passion. She's going to keep going. She's the founder of Young Biz Kids, nonprofit organization. Tag and share the video, y'all. And the organization whose mission is to empower young people by engaging and encouraging financial literacy and entrepreneurship in youth. Um, she she helps parents, and one of the things that she does is she helps parents to empower. So she helped empower them, help educate them, and equip them with the self-confidence to support their biz kid. I mean, that's amazing. Their kid has a business, and she's educating them on how to support them so that they will be successful in what they have, what the gifts and talents that they have, right? And so she also is a mentor. She's a child advocate. She's a parent advisor. She's a public speaker, and I'm sure the list goes on to hear who this fabulous woman is. Her name is Arriel Bivens Biggs. I mean, she got a couple of B's in them second. So I'm going to welcome her on the stage, and so on this platform, so she can tell us a little bit about her, and we're gonna dive in tonight, y'all. So I hope y'all got y'all pads and your pencils and y'all notebooks and y'all pens, because we're going to do what? We're gonna dive in. All right, so let's welcome the beautiful lady here, the queen, Area Big, the boss mom. I wish I had
Thank
like
you.
some music to go. The boss mom. You know how they do in the basketball game, y'all.
Yes.
They go, the boss mom.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tori. I tell people, when you introduce me like it's the basketball games, like it's the NBA finals, because it get me hyped, it get me ready to go. So you got it. I ain't even have to tell you, you got
See, see,
it. But thank you so much for having me.
you are welcome. So it is a pleasure to have you. I've watched you for a long time. We actually did an event together a long time
Yes.
ago. That's where I initially first met her. Everybody, please tag your people, tag your friends. They got kids. Tag their mothers, the mothers, the fathers, the brothers and sisters. Everybody that got kids. Tag them, because this is some important information that she's going to share. And I believe that the reason why we as individuals, and I will say even in our culture, because we don't take the information and run with it. And sometimes we wasn't privileged to get that information. But now we have some entrepreneurs, some black women, some black men in all nationalities are coming up, and they're starting their business, and they're gaining wealth. So this is definitely something that you will want your people to know about. Okay, so let's just start here. What in the world? How was it you? Hey, friend, my girl Brandy on there, my sister. How in the world did you come up with this, or did your son? Let's start right there with his business. Did he want to do it, or did you say, son, we're gonna do this because I need you to be prepared for your future?
No, that's interesting. He came up with it on his own. He wanted something out of the vending machine. We were leaving summer camp one day, and he was like, "Can you buy me something?" And I was tired. I was stressed. I had a new baby, 9 months old, on my hip, and I was like, "No, you always asking for something. Do you know somebody owns that machine, and all the money go to the owner?" And if you had your own, you'll own all the money. So no, you can't have nothing. So as we're walking to the car, he was quiet, and so when we sat down in the car, I apologized to him because I kind of snapped. But then
Mhm.
he said, Mama, I want to own my own vending machines. And I laughed. I'm like, you too young to own your vending machine. A vending machine business. But then God checked me in my spirit because when Mikey was about 3 years old, Mikey told me Proverbs 22:6. And I didn't know what that meant. I'm newly saved. I had never been in a church before, and we had just started going. And he was just like, Proverbs 22:6. And I was like, I looked in the Bible, I said, train up a child. And he looked me right in my face at 3 and said, in a way I should go. And when I get older, I will not depart from it. And he went right back to playing with his toys. So that has stuck in my heart. So when he asked me about the vending machine business, I said, you know what? I need to support him because if he's saying this, this is something that he wants. And I knew the area we lived in. I knew that if I didn't get the right thing in Mikey's hand, the wrong thing was going to end up in his hand because I could recognize that entrepreneurial spirit in him early. So I was just like, okay, Mikey, if you go do a business plan, if you do some research to tell us where to get the machines, and how you going to get the money, we're all in. Keep in mind, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I don't have any money, and I'm married. My husband don't have any extra money. But this little 7-year-old boy was like, I want this vending machine business. So within 3 days, he came back with a business plan, which was just like 5 little questions. But he was like, this is where I'm getting the machines from, this how much they're going to cost, and this is how I'm going to raise the funds to get it, which he said he would start a lemonade stand. Well, we let him go through the process of starting a lemonade stand. Within 3 days, he made $1,200. The machines was like $3,000. But what we ended up doing was sitting him down and talking to him and say, you know what, we did not think that you were going to do this. So we don't have any money set to the side for you. But if you allow us not to buy you anything for Christmas, we'll give you that Christmas money so that you can invest into the vending machine business. And he invested into the vending machine business at 7 years old. And he started off with 2 vending machines. Now, if you Google youngest vending machine owner in the United States, that's my son. Currently, today, he owns 12 vending machines.
You said a lot of stuff that was powerful in that first like 5 minutes. I'm gonna need y'all, Tawana, Latanya, Marie, Brandy. I'm gonna need y'all, Charla. I'm gonna need y'all to tag some mamas, some daddies, tag them and share this video. So powerful because one thing that you said was you told him to go get the information. Let me see how
Yes.
bad you really want it, right? To go get
Yes.
the information. He went and got the information. And how old?
He was 7.
So you can't tell me these kids is dumb because they not. They very smart and wise. They know exactly what to do to get the information. That was one thing. The second thing was you told him that he knew how he was gonna raise the money to get it. So he started
Yes.
his lemonade stand and
Yes.
y'all thought he was playing.
Yes. We thought
This
he was
goes
playing.
to that y'all have to listen to your children, mamas. We have to listen to our kids. And a lot of times, like you said, you was tired, you had a baby on your hip, you was living paycheck to paycheck, and he talking about he want to you start your own business, and he really wanted to, and he was like, you know what, I got a vision, and I want to do it, and we can do it. It don't matter how much money you got. There
Yeah.
was a way. He found a way to gain the money, and then you told him, Mamas, don't let me get you nothing for Christmas. I'm gonna give you this money to start your business. And he
Mm-hmm.
was smart enough to know that I'll give up a Christmas so I can have more than. right?
Yes, yes.
So that was powerful. That was so powerful. So, okay, so when so basically he started the vending machine business. So so do he regulate all his stuff? Do he,
So
or how does that work?
So originally he did until he started to get a little bit older, and I'm going to say entitled. And he liked the title of being the CEO and not doing all of the work. He felt like we was his employees, and I had to pull a mom boss move and tell him that I'm really the boss. And this is how this is going to work. So this is your responsibility. This is my responsibility, and this is my husband's responsibility. And then my daughter, we gave her a responsibility of tracking some inventory. So when stuff would come into the house, she would open it up and put it in the bins and stuff that it was supposed to go in. But we just divvied it because it became, first it originally was his business, but then it became a family business because we all had to get involved to do our parts. It started off as a little kid business of something that we thought that he was just going to do and he was going to phase out, but it didn't. It quickly grew into something else, and then we all had to get in a position. So I left my full-time job to work for him full-time so that we can keep up with all the machines and all the filling of the machines and the things that we had going on.
Wow. So he just about, I won't say he retired you, but you left your job to work for your son because his business was picking up and y'all had to be there to help. Man, if we listen to our children when they have these mindsets to want to grow and to have their own stuff, we listen to our children. A lot of times parents don't listen. A lot of
Mhm.
times, and I say this because a lot of times we as parents want to discipline, right? We want to pull out that rod, right? We want to tell them because I'm the parent, boo, 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 right? But we don't want to listen to their heart. We don't want to listen to what they're feeling, and we don't want to listen to what they really want. And that's
Yes.
important. Tell me how important that is.
That's very important because it helped me to see what was passed down generationally. So, how as a child, I had certain goals and visions and things that I wanted to do, but my surroundings and the adults around me did not know how to nurture that entrepreneurial gift that I had on the inside of me. So, I started to speak to that kid that was on the inside of me through my son. So I got down and I'm like, so what does this look like? Knowing that I'm not going to hold him to an adult standard, but I'm going to help him to process, okay, even if you don't do this business the rest of your life, you're going to learn critical thinking skills. You're going to learn financial literacy. You're going to learn how the money that you make today has to work for you in your future. You're also going to understand whenever you buy something, you have to think of this process. We call it cash, asset, cash. That cash that you have, you should be investing in an asset that's going to make you more money instead of going out and spending so much. And we're teaching this at 8 years old because I knew he wasn't going to listen to financial literacy from me. But if I gave him something that he wanted and was able to sneak those little vegetables, we call them vegetables, in, he was going to get those life skills that I knew that he needed to be successful.
Okay, mom boss, I'm gonna take my pen. So what I'm office around the corner because everything that you said was just so powerful. Man, it was so important because you had to go back to the kid that was in you. I tell, one of my girlfriends told me this a long time ago. When my daughter, she's 29 now, she was young and she was in high school. She said, Tori, you have to put yourself in your daughter's shoes.
Yes.
She said that we as parents, we go to discipline and we speak from our point of view and what we feel, right? But we don't necessarily put ourselves in their shoes because they have feelings, they have emotions. They are human too. Come on here. They're human.
Yes.
So we have to see what they feel and understand that your surroundings. So now I'm just jumping. You said your surroundings when you were a child, they didn't know how to cultivate what was in you. Come on here. And this is why when we know better, what we do
We
better.
do
As
better.
I always say no. My mother was a great mom, but I want to do better than what my mom did for my girls, right? And so
Yes.
I just, man, this is We only like 15 minutes in.
Yeah. And
Do not
Tori,
got your pens. Come on, right. Go ahead, Ariel.
and Tori, I just want to say the biggest thing for me in teaching him was that the environment that I grew up in the projects. I grew up in the Cochran projects. So we lived in apartment buildings. I didn't know that I lived in projects. My mom gave us a good childhood. I didn't know that I lived in low income and that all of this violence was around me. But when I got older and I started looking at what I wanted for my child, I knew that I didn't want that life for my child, but I didn't know how to get out of it because I ended up having my child. I ended up going into low income apartments. I end up saying, you know what, public assistance is just what I'm going to do because this is what's going to help me get to get not suffer, not struggle taking care of my son.
Right.
But what I realized that my mom them moved out of the Cochran when I was 18 years old, meaning they stepped up. So since they stepped up, I was stuck in my mind because that's what I was used to seeing. I thought, well, this is gonna be the life for me because my mom and them made it when they were raising their kids. So this was comfortable. But then watching my mom them over the years, I'm like, no, they set a standard I have to come up to and not raise my children in the same type of environment that I was raised in because they didn't have a choice. But
Right.
I have a choice because I can go out and work. We don't have the same barriers that our parents had. So I had to look at all of that and say, girl, you're living beneath your privilege of what God said you can have and what your parents set forth because you're stuck in your own mind that this is the way things should be.
So let me ask you. So when you went through that transition there, did you uh, were there another select of individuals that you were around? Did you find more positive people, or did you and your husband just bond together and try to take these steps? How did that process look when you said you knew that you wanted to be better than that and you was guys were going to help him fulfill what he wanted to do?
Okay, so it was just me and Mikey because my husband is not Mikey's biological dad. So it
Okay.
was me and Mikey by ourselves. But when my husband came along, when Mikey was about 1.5,
Mhm.
we dated for a little bit, but then he encouraged me to go back to school, get yourself together, get you a part-time job, and I'll help you with Mikey. And we dated during that time. And then we got married really quickly. I think we were married within 11 months and
Mhm.
then but we knew what we were about to do and we knew what we wanted and he kept saying God said you are my wife. So in that he kept saying you got to want more out of life. This is how we're going to do it. You're going to come off Section 8. I didn't know. I didn't believe it, but he saw it. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to pay these bills, but it all worked because he believed in me and he saw something in me that I didn't see in me. And he was like, Arriel, you're an entrepreneur. You're a natural born hustler. You braid hair when you need some money. You'll make some jewelry. You'll pay some people nails. He's like, I've watched you because I watch you do all of these things. He said, so I knew that you were going to come out and I knew that you were going to be an entrepreneur, but you needed some small wins to get you to where you needed to be so that you can start to soar. And I didn't realize it at the time.
Wow. So somebody's sing the best in you. Ah, come
Mm-hmm.
on, Marvin Sapp with his
Mm-hmm.
song. So your fiance seen that in you and knew that you had it and he helped you to get there. And that's powerful, ladies. All you single ladies out here. Listen, all you single ladies, when the Lord send you somebody, he's going to see who you are and he's going to help push you. He's not going to pull you back, but he's going to help push you to be a better woman. If he's not, then maybe he ain't the one for you. Come on here, somebody. All right, let's go. That's one of the singles. Let's go back. So this is what I want to say too. So now you are actually you coach and you mentor mothers and children. Now you have something going on with the kids. So tell me a little bit about how do you take what you've learned for your son and what you have cultivated and to him to be. So do he speak to when you do these things? Do he go out and Speak.
Yes, he speak, and he's a two-time best-selling author. He sold over 20,000 copies of his book. So Mikey stepped out before I even stepped out. So as he was traveling the world speaking, I was kind of just his momager and I was in the background. But what was happening, people would say, where's his mom, or where's the parent that's connected to this kid? Because if he's phenomenal, she has to be phenomenal. And in my mind, like, they ain't talking about me, because I'm not phenomenal. I'm just helping my son get to his next level, and I'm giving my all to my son. But in that process, I found out a lot about myself. But it took people to have to say it to me, because I didn't see myself the way that other people saw me.
Mm, that's powerful. So I love that you you was like his shadow. You was his momager. And that's so cute because he outspeaking your son, the one you
Mm-hmm.
birthed, and you pushed him to do that. And now that you are, so he's out speaking. So this is what he do. So he has two books.
Yes, he has two books.
And
Mm-hmm.
what are the name of those books?
One is called Biz is a Wiz, and it's for pre-K through third graders, and it
Okay.
just goes through how to start a lemonade stand. And then the other book is called Mikey Learns About Business, where it goes through his process on how he started his first business. So it starts with his business plan, then it goes into how he did the lemonade stand, and then how he purchased his first two vending machines in their children's book.
Okay, so now we're gonna dip on into your business because you showed us and you told us about how you helped your son, cultivated him to have 12 vending machines. Is it?
Yes,
That's
yes.
12 vending machines. He's a two-time author. He sold all these books and he has speaking engagements. Now let's the mom boss. Now this is where she comes out, y'all, and she's talking about what she's doing because she's a mom's boss. Listen, she go ahead and pop your collar though.
Look.
Don't pop that collar. All right, so she's a mom boss. So mom, tell us about some of the things. Let's go into some of the things that you are doing now with mothers, with parents, and also with the children to help cultivate them and to show them how to become a biz kid.
Okay, I'm going to take a small step back to say how that all started.
Yeah.
So, during this process of teaching Mikey, I started to teach other kids on how to start their business, how to write their books, how to publish, and how to get on a speaking circuit, just like Mikey. But what was happening, I'm seeing these moms that's broke, busted, and disgusted, trying to get their kids' stuff off the ground. They're working, they're tired, they're just overworked and overwhelmed. And I'm like, this is not how this is supposed to be. So when I got diagnosed with cancer during the time that I'm working with Mikey and I'm running Young Biz Kids, I'm battling cancer at that time. So
Ah,
while I was sitting in my chemo chair, God started to deal with me that I have a call on your life. You've done what you needed to do for your son, but I used that to put you in position, because you wouldn't have done it if you didn't have to do it for your son. So since you had to do that, now you have all of these skill sets. Which one are you going to go with? And I was sitting there and I was just pleading with God, like, I'm afraid, I'm too afraid. But then God told me that He sent me to set the captives free through financial literacy, through economic empowerment, through building wealth, through entrepreneurship. And I kept feeling like, I can't do that. How am I going to do that? But then it was just like, you did that. So you're thinking that you're not qualified or you're not called and that you have to learn something, but that's what you did and that's what you've been doing. So doing that, I was like, Lord, I don't want to be with cancer no more. I don't want to fight cancer no more, because that was my second time fighting cancer. So I'm like, God, whatever you're calling me to do, whatever your will is for my life, I want to do that. And that's what made me step in to start teaching moms that you can do this with your kid, but you also have a legacy for yourself. You also have something that God gave you and purposed you for. And it's more than just a mom. It's more than just going to work every day unfulfilled and you're complaining about your job. Now, if you love your job, that's one thing. But if you're going and you feel drained and you feel like this cannot be what I do for the rest of my life, then it's something that you got to sit back and say, God, what is it that I'm supposed to do? I'm going to use this 9 to 5 to fund the vision that you told me for my life. And so that's what I was able to do. And I got it all sitting in the chemo chair.
this fan, my office. around the corner. That's powerful because a lot of times we do look at ourselves. Yeah, I know some of y'all on here on this chat, Charla, Marie, Brent. I know sometimes we have looked at ourselves and did not think that we had it, we could do it. We could really put this into motion and execute it and get it done because we're looking at our situation, we're looking at our circumstance, we're looking at how we feel. You was battling cancer. We looking at all those different oppositions or barriers that seem like they will stop us from pushing forward. But the Lord gave you a word and He
Mhm.
told you, and you have come to help people learn how to come out of poverty. Come on here.
Yeah.
You come to let people know how to start businesses and learn financial literacy and economics. And this is powerful because we need more people and we have them rising like you to take the stand in what you're doing. You left your job to help your son, and God said, baby, you are ready for your own. You're ready to move and breathe on people. Come on. So that they
Mhm.
come, because we're not supposed to be living in poverty. We're not supposed to be, but it's a mindset, right?
It's a
It's a
mindset.
mindset that has to change because you said also that you seen your mama and you didn't know that y'all was in that situation, because you didn't know any of that. You just living, she was providing and all of that. And then you got to the point where you was just like, I'm good. I'm good. This is what I'm used to.
Mhm.
And that's the mindset that a lot of people have until you got someone breathe life into you and kept talking to you. And then you came up. So you come to do some damage, baby. I'm telling
Mhm.
you. In
Mhm.
this kingdom of darkness, because that's where the enemy wants us to stay in poverty and stay not knowing and not have the knowledge and not have the power to come out. All right, let's go.
Yeah, I agree. That's what the enemy wanted us to say, and that's why me telling my story and my journey was so important because we battled cancer was one thing, and then soon as we came out of that, the pandemic hit. But while the pandemic hit, we ended up losing our home during the pandemic, all while we're running a business, all while we're running a nonprofit, and we got to go stay with my mom for 8 weeks until we find another home. We tried to hold on to that home because when I was battling cancer, my husband was the only one working. He We got behind on our taxes because we owned our home, but we got behind on our taxes. Somebody came in, paid the taxes. They told us that we can buy the house back, but they doubled the price. So we said, okay, we're going to pay it. One of my friends on social media, I talked to her. She went to social media, blocked me from the post, and said, St. Louis, Arriel and Mikey need our help. We need to come together and wrap our arms around them. Within 24 hours, she cashed out me $4,000. Within 48 hours, they cashed out. I got another $4,000 just from people. So all together, the city of St. Louis, like our community of entrepreneurs and people that love us within the St. Louis community, sent us $8,000 within 48 hours.
Wow.
But
That's powerful.
very powerful. But I believe if we wasn't doing the work and serving like we were serving in the community, it wouldn't have lined up that way. But the most powerful thing in that, God had already been dealing with me about moving from their house. We were in Jenny's. The environment wasn't the best for where God was taking us. And I kept saying we needed to move. I didn't know that we were going to move. That was going to cause us to move and shake our foundation. That, no, you about to move now. But God had already been dealing with me. But I'm like, we own this house. We comfortable. We ain't got no mortgage. Like, we're good. We just need to get ourselves back together from battling with this cancer. Well, it didn't happen like that. But we all, as soon as everything happened, and the guy said that we couldn't buy the house back, and he was, and we was like, okay, thank you, because we knew that was God. It wasn't him. It was God saying, I told y'all that y'all about to move, and I'm about to elevate y'all, and I can't elevate y'all here. Our credit scores were together. We already had 16,000 of our own in savings because we're financial literacy. We putting stuff to the side, and then to have another 8,000 from the community was like, okay, what is our next move? When I tell you, within 8 weeks, we had a house 3 times bigger than the house that we lost. 3 times bigger. We went from one bathroom and three bedrooms, one bathroom, to 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, a loft area, walk-in bathroom with the soaker tub, like just it looks like our house looked like a mini mansion. It's crazy from where we came from. And
Wait a
it's
minute,
just like,
insert, insert. I wish we could play the song. Won't he do it? He said he would. Listen, that's just like God. That's the stuff that he does though, because he will make cause an avalanche. Come on. He will cause an avalanche to shake you and say go, because you would have stayed there telling us some, nah, our house paid for, we good. Lord said, well, I'm taking y'all can't stay here. That's
yes.
crazy. And I
Yeah.
bet during that time your heart was hurt and broken because you like, dad, we just lost our house.
Honestly, no, Tori, honestly, it wasn't. Because
Oh,
God, it wasn't because God had already started. And when everything happened, it was just like, this is it. We didn't even pack a lot of stuff to go because God said all things new. So we knew new houses, we knew new cars, we knew new clothes, we knew new furniture. So we knew we couldn't take that old stuff where this newness, because it wouldn't fit in what it was that we were going to. And we went through that process within 8 weeks. We walked into our house, and this is in the midst of a pandemic where all the houses are 10,000 to 20,000 more than what houses was selling for. Our house was $40,000 less than what they were asking for, because it was, and I looked at this house and I'm like, that's the house that I wanted, but I knew that it was out of our price range for what we got approved for, but we kept getting denied. We looked at about 10 houses and people were outbidding us, all of that. And I said, we're gonna go to this house and we're gonna go ahead and put the offer on. And we did, and they came down to us. And I was like, that's God. They came down and said, this is what we gonna do with y'all. And we got it for that. And then when we got it appraised, our house appraised for 300,000, which was $85,000 in equity right off the bat.
you see what I'm saying?
So we knew that it was God. Like this, it was a faith walk, but we knew that this was God, and in the season that we were in, because my husband was tapped in with God, I'm tapped in with God, and our children are tapped in because we bring them up in the Word of God. But God was showing us that everything that's happening in your life gonna work together for your good if you see it that way. And we kept standing, this happened, that means God finna do something even bigger.
Yes, yes. So I hope she encouraged y'all on here already. I told y'all to share it and tag. I hope now when I go
Mhm.
back and look at this video, Marie, Charla, suddenly, all y'all better have shared this, because this is information, this is testimony, this is knowledge, this is wisdom, this is showing you how you can come living paycheck to paycheck, and God can take you from there and move you up. He can elevate you. This is showing you not to give up. This is showing you to keep the faith. This is showing you to let the Lord lead and guide. That's what this is showing. This is powerful. Dang, look, dang. Wow, that's a powerful testimony. See, I ain't know all that, y'all. I'm learning. Yeah, so tell us now about what you are doing, Mom Boss. You told us about your son. You told us how you got to this point now. Where you are, how the Lord spoke to you and said, "There's life in you, daughter. There's vision in you, daughter. I have a mandate upon your life, daughter. That I need for you to help my people. I need you to go get my people and let them know that they can come up. I need you to go do it." And so now you are doing that, which is so powerful. Man, this is powerful because shoot, when people are fearful and not knowing what's going on in the world, listen, we look to the rock that is higher than us, right? And he gives us wisdom on what to do. And he sent people like you to tell us and show us. So go ahead and tell me what you are doing now.
So now I'm coaching moms on how to like walk by faith and walk out that God given vision that God given them, and use their passions and their gifts to help the next generation or to help other moms like them. And the reason why I started to do that, because as my son had his business, but I was also running a nonprofit that is revenue generating. It makes its own money. And some of the moms was like, I want to do good in the community, but I know my nonprofits don't really make no money. So how do I sustain a lifestyle and still do the things that I want to do within the community? And I said, well, you create a revenue model where money comes in through the nonprofit. And they was like, well, you can't make a profit. I said, I didn't say make a profit. I said make revenue. So you have to be able to draw up a plan that shows the revenue that's going to come in, and then show how you're going to spend that revenue, whether you're hiring people to do certain positions, how you're spending it on your programs. Like all of those things matter when you're looking at a revenue model. So I started to teach how to create a revenue model to other moms, and I taught probably 50 to 60 moms for free, and they all started to do what I was doing. And I was like, now wait a minute, there's something to this. Because when and I want to say that because for me personally, I felt like, well, this is a God-given gift, and I need to keep giving it to people, and I need to give it to them for free because they need it. But what God started dealing with me on, no, this is the provision that I'm giving you, but you giving it away free. I didn't tell you to give it away free. I told you to do it, but I did not say to give it away for free, because how are you feeding your family?
That's
And I
right.
wasn't. But I was giving my time, and God was showing me when I was saying yes to other people, I was saying no to something else that my family needed, which was time with me and then traveling with me, because I'm doing so much in the community. And I started telling people, I do not want to be a public success and a private failure that I didn't take care of my own stuff on the back end. So and as I'm teaching this and pouring out my heart to women, they would cry in front of me and like, I'm doing the same thing. My nonprofit ain't making money. My business not making money. My, like I'm doing this thing with my kid, but it ain't making money, and I just can't figure it out. So that's when I started to say, okay, let's sit down, let's look at what you have. And I say, these are the pieces that you're missing. You have a good idea, but the problem is, how are you launching it in the market? How are you marketing it in the market? And what kind of marketing campaigns are you running? Because it's not just posting to social media and tagging people in the post, and then you say people are not supporting what I'm doing. Well, that's not how you market. How you market is really tapping into who your target audience is, finding out where they are. And sometimes they're not on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Finding out where they are, and then speaking the language that they speak, and then figure out what problems that you can solve within your wheelhouse. So for me, the problem was these women want to do these great things in the community. They want to make money and they want to make impact, but they can't figure it out. So I tapped into, I said, okay, I know how to do a business model canvas so that you can see your business model and lay out how you get to six figures, and then give you a year to do it. Some women took 2 years to do it, but they had the plan in front of them, because some of it was a limited mindset that wouldn't allow them to get over $50,000, because that's all that they've ever made in their life. So when they hit 50,000, they got real comfortable. I said, okay, that's fine if that's where you want to be, but if you're truly trying to get away from paycheck to paycheck, you got to get out of your comfort zone and do a little bit more. So at least hit six figures so that you know that you can do it and that you can truly take care of your family. So that's what I started to do with moms. Like, the freedom of your time is important, and the freedom that you have, that you can create something and feel good every time you go to do what it is that you're doing. It doesn't feel like you go to work. I work with kids every day, all day. I talk to them all day. I talk to their parents, but it never feels like work to me, because I love what I'm doing and I know that I'm walking in purpose.
Now, if y'all don't hire her as y'all business, listen, I'm gonna throw this in out my office. And if y'all don't hire her as y'all, she has so much wisdom and knowledge to show you a plan. And you're right. You and to think about it, you served for a long time. You served. And you're right, because when you serve and you take from your house to serve other people and your house is lacking, well, God has given you a gift, and he has given you wisdom, and he has given you knowledge to pour into others. And that takes time, because guess what? One, you had to go through to gain all that.
Yes.
You say suffer. You did. You had to be without. You had to do different things to learn all that knowledge, to get all that wisdom, and you was in the trenches, right?
Yes.
So being so that's baby, that gives you the what I want to say, they gives you are a expert
Yeah.
in this. You are an expert in what you do. You are an expert. She's just not a boss, a mom boss. She's an expert mom boss. Come on here. She show other women how to a business plan, how to get to six figures. That's an expert.
Yeah, and that I lived it. So I'm not telling people to do something that I didn't do. Because I didn't birth this business that I'm doing right now until 2021. So to be able to do six figures and be able to figure all of this out is like, no, it doesn't take years to hit six figures. You just have to have the right plan, and then you have to follow the plan to get there. That's what it is. Because I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna be a millionaire. I don't know how, because people kept prophesying, you're gonna be a millionaire. You're gonna, I'm like, I don't know how, but it wasn't about the how. It was more of being obedient and willing to do what God has called me to do. And God is going to bring all that. I still got one more testimony about relationships and partnerships, but
We're gonna talk about that too, but you got a church fan over there.
look, I
You got a church,
probably, look,
you got a church,
probably.
who got a church fan? Okay, so tell me. So you want to go to you want to go to that, or do you want to talk about the kids? What you do with them?
Let me go to partnership, because what I do with the kids, I'm actually backpedaling out of what I'm doing with the kids. I put a curriculum together so that I can really allow people to serve the kids, and I continue with the vision, because I'm about to plant a national YBK headquarters in North St. Louis City. It's 30,000 square feet. And it's going to be the national headquarters for Young Biz Kids. So I didn't mention this, but Young Biz Kids is in 7 states now. So the kids will be here next month, traveling from all over the United States to come and get training with me and my team. But it's because it's growing so big, I can't be in the trenches like I was, because I see the bigger vision, and I have to go plant these learning centers all over the United States so kids can have an entrepreneurial learning center to go to. I tell people and parents all the time, we know where to take our kids to play sports. We know where to take them for the dance studios, but where do we take those entrepreneurial kids? We can't keep taking them here and there and they got a little program. We really need something to cultivate that entrepreneurial bug that they have, because we don't know where they can be. We need to train them in entrepreneurship just like we training them in sports. We need to train them in entrepreneurship just like we training them in dance, because all of those things, sports and a dance, that's good, but entrepreneurship is a mindset, and once you develop a certain mindset, it'll take you a long way. So
Yeah,
I believe that every kid needs to be exposed to youth entrepreneurship. So God has shown me you'll do more fighting and advocating for youth entrepreneurship to become normalized, like reading, writing, and arithmetic. Entrepreneurship should be right along with it, because
yeah,
how do we expect our kids to think critically when we telling them what to think? You telling them to read this book and regurgitate what this book said, but it's like, no, we need them to think critically, and we need to understand how they're processing the information and letting them tell us how they think. And I kept saying, we're wondering why these adults won't step out in entrepreneurship. It's because they've been told what to think all day life. You've been told, go to school, get a good job, and go to college, and that's what you're gonna do for the rest of your life. No, that doesn't work for us, and especially this next generation of kids, it does not work for them. So in knowing that, entrepreneurial education is going to be very important for them, so that they'll understand how to truly think critically. So
child.
that's what I'm doing. But I still needed to help the moms. But I'll spend most of my time, instead of with the kids, advocating for spaces for them to do what I know it is that they need to do. And I'm training people up under me to work with the kids.
How about the headquarters though?
Yes, the headquarters are the head man, 30,000 square feet, 30,000 square feet,
Wow.
right in the inner city. And I was told, why don't you go to Chesterfield? Why don't you go to, because they're just going to vandalize it down there. It's just going to be, I said, because I know who I am, and I know where I'm from, and I know what it takes to get people from those areas to where they need to be, because I've been there, so I can identify where they are and then help them through the process of giving them the tools and the resources they need to get to the next level, because that was my life. I didn't just get her just because somebody didn't just pick me up and I worked through the process. I filed bankruptcy. I was broke. Between me and my husband, at one point, we had $30 in our bank account. On the day that he got paid, we had $30 left, and we had to make it last for 2 weeks. So I know what that feels like. So then what did we do? I can help those parents and help those individuals. What do you do when you're in that type of position? One, you go to the food pantry. Two, you start looking at the resources around there. So any way that you can help lower your regular bills, you start doing that. And then I had parents say, well, I'm not broke enough to go. I got a job. I understand that. But sometimes these resources will help us to get over that hump. But we look at it as we don't need that because we got this. And no, they're there for you if you need them. And you need to add it into your budget so that you can get yourself to where you do got $1,000 say, where you do got 3 months of savings, so that you don't find yourself in this position anymore. But right now, this is what I need you to do.
Hello, church. When I tell you, you are spitting so much wisdom, and I knew it. When I made the post today about you coming on here. I knew it. The Holy Ghost just let me know that they was going to get something tonight that was going to change the trajectory of their life. A lot of women that's looking at this is going to resonate and open them up to knowing, oh, I got to get out of this. I'm coming out of this. Oh, I'm coming out of this. This is what this is doing tonight. This is what this is doing. So this headquarters, man, that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal what you are doing. And so what does it look like, just say 5 to 10 years from now? Where do you see Biz Kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see the nonprofit organization? Where do you see it going? Do you see yourself able to hire more people to your nonprofit organization as well? What do you see? What can you tell us?
I see hiring more people, of course, but then hiring those teens and those kids that's been through my program, allowing them to teach their peers because they've been through the process. For me, it's hard for me to get people to teach something that ain't been there because it's not authentic and it's not real. I need people who understand, because I know the demographic of people that I deal with, and you can't play with them because they're so fragile. So if you're telling them some wrong information, it's going to devastate them. It might not put them on the track. It might knock them off the track altogether. So I need to have people that understands and know the process, and then how do we move forward. So my goal is to hire more people, hire the kids that's been through the program, and then also to cultivate relationships with the SBA, other organizations that can help pour into these kids and these families so that they'll know that entrepreneurship is an option for them. Me working a regular job was not going to get me where I am now. Honestly, funny story. When I first I hired a business coach, he was like, you need to make $20,000 in a month. I'm like, I ain't even made 20,000 in a year, so how am I make 20,000 in a month? Well, anyway, long story short, we coached me through it. I made 20,000 in a month. I said, nah, that was just luck. I'm trying to do it again. I made 20,000 the next month. So within 2 months, I made $40,000. I had only made $50,000 throughout the entire year.
Wow.
So to be able to do 40,000 in 2 months, I started popping my collar a little too soon because I ain't make money for the next 3 months because I was tripping. Because I was like, oh, that's easy. I'm gonna make 20,000 every month. I did not. So and I wanted to share that because in entrepreneurship, it's ups and downs, it's valleys. So I don't want you to think that everything was good. But what I can tell you, when I applied myself and I tapped in and I did what I knew that I was supposed to do, the money was there and I was making the impact that I needed to make within the community, helping people. I like to tell people, if you're looking for a coach, you got to hire a coach that, one, check their receipts, two, make sure that they've been through the process and successfully overcame or got through or got to the other side of what you're trying to do. And the last thing is that you can call and check with other people that they say they got references, because a lot of people, because they've done something, they'll say, well, I can be your coach because I've done that. But if you don't have that anointing to guide people through the process, you're going to mess a lot of people up. So I like to tell people, in looking for coaches, you just got to make sure that they carry the anointing from God, that they can teach and they can also guide you through a process that can be duplicatable so that you can get the same result that the last person got, as long as you apply the process that they put in place.
Man. She talking because she know what she talking about. She talking. People be talking and they don't know what they talking about.
Yeah.
She know exactly what she talking about.
Because
So,
I bought courses for $97. I bought into coaching programs that did not work for me because they didn't understand me and what I needed. I bought courses where they said, watch these videos and you're gonna make six figures. Well, I still had questions. I still didn't understand how to connect A to B and then C to D. Like I didn't understand it. So for me, the way when I do coaches and when I tell people to look for coach, if you know that you're a person that need hand on and sometimes hand holding and sometimes walking through, then you got to make sure you get a coach that's going to walk you through. Because as moms, we do so much for everybody else. We'll put our stuff on a back burner and say, you know what, I'll do that later. This book that I'm launching, that I launched today, that's been on the back burner for a year. I had to hire a coach to pull it out of me and push me to do it. And I understood that the people who needed to hear what was in that book, they're waiting on me and they can't move forward until I get this done. So I'm hurting people by not doing what God has called me to do. So when you're looking for coaches, just make sure that they can deliver on what it is that you need and how you need it.
so what would you tell the people here today? What would you tell them as far as starting, how to start, what to start doing first? What would you tell them to do?
The first thing I would say is get into some mindset training. Train your mindset on how to think positively, even when everything around you look negative and chaos, because you're going to have to focus in this season. If you're trying to start something, it's just like when you're about to have a baby. When you find out that you got a positive pregnancy test, you're all excited, you're happy. You don't really want to tell anybody right off because you want to get to that safety zone. But then once you get into that second trimester, you start telling everybody, but then you also start feeling a little bit of them labor pains or those little contractions, knowing that stuff is going to start hurting around you, but knowing that when if God gave you a vision to birth, you got to make sure that you're writing the vision and making it plain and understanding exactly what you're about to do with this baby that he's trusting you with. And then when you get into that last trimester, it's going to get very uncomfortable. Your family and friends going to talk about you. Your people that you normally was your road dogs not going to be there, but you going to still have to go in this room alone and deliver this baby. And as you're delivering that baby, which is your business and the vision that God gave you, you got to make sure that when it comes, you're prepared. You create an environment for that baby to grow and thrive in, which is having a coach with you and then understanding what you're about to do with this baby for the next 18 months. We know it's 18 years, but for the next 18 months, what does this business baby look like? And I compare it to my babies. I'm not giving up on my babies, even though those hard nights, changing diapers up all night, I wasn't going to give up, and I had to look at the business the same way. So I would say to you moms, look at your business, that thing you want to birth as a baby, and take care of it just like you're about to take care of your baby.
Yes, God. Yes, God. Let's put up I want to put up, well, I did put your contact information, you guys. Her contact information is already in the post, in the live. If you've seen it, you have her email address, you have her website, you have her phone number, you have her event. Let's talk about first. She launched her book, Please. I don't know if I put there's her event right there, Mom Boss, June 24th to 25th. You can go to that website right there. And then there is also a link in the post where you can click on and purchase your ticket, so you can go and Get the mom boss experience. Go. You may see me at the mom boss listening.
And the experience is broke up into three parts. So the first, well, into two parts. Do you get it's the book signing, and you can go on there and purchase a free ticket just so that we can have a head count to know how much food is there. But you can also purchase a copy of the book for $20, and I'll sign it, and we can take pictures. But the next day of the experience is for that mom that says, "I want you to train with me. I don't have a coach right now, but I at least want you to help me to get prepared and write this vision and make it plain." And then I'm bringing my friends in. I think I just saw one of them on here, but I'm bringing my friends in to sit on a panel to show you how to get to the money. Because for me, I noticed that moms have a fear of asking for money or asking people for stuff, period. But we have to go ask for the money for our business. So I have a let's get to the money panel, and then I have a mom boss panel, and then I am going to teach on personal branding and influence building. And then we also have a catered lunch. We have a self-care session, and then we have some headshots that's going to go on. But that's all the second day of the experience, because when you
Oh,
leave, I want you to have your when you leave, I want you to have your plan, but then I also want you to know that, okay, I need a headshot. I want you to have your headshot when you leave too, so that you don't have any excuses on why you're not moving forward and getting that business baby out into the world.
Marie, I see you said, "Oh, I need this." Yes, there is a lot of ladies, a lot of mothers, even maybe fathers, dad balls. There are a lot of, because I'm sure the information that you're spitting there is going to be, men, women, whoever it is, with knowledge. But listen, y'all go on there and register. This information is going to be. You may see me there, y'all. Y'all may see me. Go on and register, so that you can get the mom boss experience. She said headshot. She said she's going to have the information from her, and she has a couple of panels where you're going to get more information. And I think that is beautiful. This is an event that you should go to. This is an event that's going to be worth your 2 days. This is an event that's going to empower you, that's going to give you what you need to get the gut to step out and do what you need to do. So I'm excited. I am excited. This is phenomenal. Tag y'all, share the video, because everybody needs to know about this event. If you from out of state, come on in and get to this event, because I'm sure it is going to be worth your while. Um, if you can say some last words, I know you said a whole. When I say this has been one of my best interviews, man, phenomenal. Um, if you can have some last words to leave for the people today, what would you say to them? What would you tell them? Um, what encouraging words would you give them to know that there is hope and they can do it no matter how hard it is?
I got a lot of things running through my head, but let me say this, that you're more than just a mom, and that you have to, as a mom, do what works for you. And sometimes I know we're told we can't be selfish, that our kids didn't ask to be here, but in a season where God is showing you something about you, you have to be selfish to give yourself what you need. And I call it activating your spiritual swag, which putting your faith in God, believing in yourself, and you knowing that you have the ability to overcome. And all of this is part of your story. Sometimes we use our kids as an excuse, and I hold moms accountable that no, God, those are God kids, those not our kids. He just put them on loan to us, so they're taken care of. You got to make sure that you serve and live out that God-given purpose that God gave you.
I love it. I love it. You have been such a big old blessing. You have been a blessing to me. Getting this information from you, we don't know everything. There's an expert in every field. You know what I mean? There's a person that has the knowledge and the wisdom that can give you, that can help you. And I just appreciate you. I really appreciate you. I appreciate um, the gift that God has given you, your talents, and His Spirit that's just exuding through you. I thank you so much for joining us tonight. Y'all, thank you for tuning in to Everyday Life with Tori Munson podcast. I'm your girl, your queen, your preacher, your teacher, your motivational speaker. And we are concluding tonight with our beautiful Ariel Biggs tonight. Thank you so much. And until next time, see you then. Bye, Ariel.